Okay, good evening, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm trying to get the internet and the slideshow working. Is there anyone that can indicate to me that you can hear me on the screen? If you can just start on the discussion and the chat, so that I can see whether anyone can hear me. If you can just type or let me know that you can hear me, so that we can start the session. I'll have 1 minute left before my session starts. Good evening, everyone. I just want to find out whether anyone can hear me and that you can see my screen currently. Okay. Can you give me thumbs up currently so that I can see that you guys can definitely hear me and see my screen? Hello? I'm not too sure whether just now I can hear you. Morimi Damarius, you can hear me, eh? Okay, colleagues, hopefully that you can see my screen as we need to start our session. And the session will be recorded. It has been recorded for 10 minutes already. Hopefully that you can see everything and that you can see my slides. And colleagues, we will be doing financial accounting for companies, and we will be looking at financial leases. Sorry, let me just get the next slide. I'm sorry. All right, colleagues, for financial accounting for companies, this is leases. Our contact details, Mr. Alfred Baloy is the MRL for the module. Contact details on the right-hand side, as well as the contact numbers. For any queries concerning the material, please send all your technical queries regarding your technical concerns and questions to the fact2601@unisa.ac.za mailbox, where we have a dedicated person looking after that mailbox and addressing all your concerns and questions. Now, colleagues, the main reason for this session, and before we start, just a few house rules. You will notice that there's a 30 seconds delay when you hear audio on your side, and this is due to the technical or internet speed. Please also note that I will address any questions in the question and answer section after the class, and all resources for this class will be on the My Module site at the bottom of the welcome message, which will be labeled as Online Class 6. Let me quickly take you to that section where you can see, if you can still see my screen, you will need to go to the welcome message, and you can find all the resources and everything that we discussed tonight under the online class leases part 6. So if you visit this class and it opens up, excuse me, you will note that all the resources will be there, and I will post the video that's been recorded for tonight under this session as well. Please also note, colleagues, that when you need to access your assessment 2, which will be written on the 17th of April, you can access the assessment tool on the CAS My Exam site. This resource will take you directly to the CAS My Exam site where you can get access to your assessment too, just for interest sake. All right, so just as for assessment 1, you can access assessment 2 on this site, on this link. All right, colleagues, let me go back to the class. And like I indicated, the video recording will be made available after the class and also added under the online 6 section, under the welcome message of the My Modules. Colleagues, let me just quickly escape here to see whether I can see you can still hear me. And you can see the slides. Can anyone indicate to me that you can see my slides? Just quickly, so that I know that everything is in working order. All right. There is, yes, tonight. Let me see. Can anyone see the slides as well as the, and you can hear me? If anyone just can give me a thumbs up with that in that regards, then we can continue with the session. It should not be a very long session tonight, colleagues. Let me just hang on for a bit to see if you can see my slides as well as you have audio from me. Can anyone just indicate that to me quickly? Okay, let me see. Can you hear me? You can see the slides. Can anyone just indicate that to me quickly? Yes, sure. Thank you, Tyra. And thank you, guys. Thank you. Yes, all good. Yes, good. Thank you, guys. Then we can quickly go back to my slides and we can look at the session that we want to present tonight. Now, colleagues, as indicated to you, that session, let me just get the presentation slides hanging on here. As indicated, you will find those slides and resources under online class 6, leases part 1. Tomorrow morning, we will have part 2, financial leases. But for tonight's section, we will be discussing leases IFRS 16, and it is very important that you know your theory. I will explain to you how the theory is relevant and how you will apply the theory on given questions. If you don't understand the theory, you would not be able to apply it to given questions. And really what we are concentrating on here is for leases, the very part 1 section. When you look at your study material lessons tool 7, you will find that we will deal with leases only, and for how to deal with leases for lessees. And if you continue with your studies in 3rd year, you will be doing lessors in IFRS 16. Now, colleagues, what is the objective for tonight? Like I explained, we are trying to outline the principle, okay, and the recognition, measurement, and presentation and disclosure of leases. Okay, this is what we are after for doing leases. The contract existence. Now, colleagues, whenever there is a contract between 2 parties, at the inception of the contract, we need to assess whether the contract is or contains a lease. Okay, colleagues, that is very important. You would notice that in your 2nd year, you will be bombarded with theoretical type of questions, discussion type of questions, and I will show you tonight what you really need to know and how you need to apply the theory on a given question. So whenever we ask of you, discuss the contract and whether the contract contains a lease or not, this is the way that you will be doing it and discussing it by looking and really making that content your own. Now, before you can really distinguish or whether you can determine whether the contract contains a lease is when the contract conveys the following. This is critical in applying the definition of IFRS 16 whether a contract contains a lease. That would mean that there must be a right to control the use of an identified asset for a period of time in exchange for a consideration. It's really important that you get this and you know the gist of it to be able to apply it. So we can sketch you a scenario and we can ask of you, please discuss whether this contract actually contains a lease. Now, for the new standard IFRS 16, there is no classification for lessees between an operating and or financial leases as what there are for lessors. Okay, but we are dealing only leases, IFRS 16 for lessees, and there is currently no classification between operating and financial leases as with the previous standard. But for lessees, when the contract contains a lease, you must identify and recognize an asset, a right of use asset, and a liability, lease liability. Okay? But that really forms part of part 2, financial leases, which our class will be held for tomorrow morning, okay, between 10 and 11:30. What we are after here tonight is leases, but the exemption. Okay, exemption, the recognition exemption, that the leases, the lessees can classify or recognize, sorry, no, there's no classification, but they can recognize leases when there is a recognition exemption. So what we state here, that when a contract contains a lease, as per the definition, you have to identify an asset or a liability, unless, colleagues, unless the following is applicable. If a contract contains a lease, the lessee may choose not to apply the full standard of IFRS 16, which means a right of use asset and recognize a liability, only if leases for assets, that is for 12 months or less, and leases for which the underlying assets are of low value assets. For example, tablets, personal computers, small offices and furniture and items where there's no purchase option. Okay? Low value, according to IFRS 16, normally states assets that are worth equal and less than $5,000. But we will indicate to you whether the lessee has chose this option in a scenario. Account then for the lease payments on a straight line basis. So colleagues, just to summarize quickly, for IFRS 16 leases, the lessee cannot classify. There's no classification between short-term leases or financial leases. At first, the very first step is that you need to determine at the inception of a contract whether the contract contains a lease. Now, if the contract does contain a lease, the lessee has no option but to recognize and account for the lessee on an asset basis and a liability, unless we tell you that this value of the asset is of very low value and it's for 12 months or less. Okay, but we will tell you that in a scenario. So colleagues, it's really good. It's really, you really need to know and have a good understanding of the theory and know how to apply it to any given question. Therefore, it's imperative that you work through the theory under lesson tool 7. So it's quite simple. First of all, what do you need to determine at the inception of a contract, whether this contract contains a lease? If it does contains a lease, you need to account for the lease based on recognizing a right of use asset. That's your asset, the debit your asset, and credit the liability. But there is a recognition exemption. The exemption applies if the assets are of low value and it is really of 12 months or less. When that is normally for tablets like personal computers, like I explained. Okay, colleagues, but we will be going through an example just to clarify and classify this for you so that you can know exactly what you need to do when the assessments are coming up. Like I explained to you, we are moving away from normal calculations and you need to express yourself in a discussion type way where you need to take the definition of leases, for example, and apply it to the scenario. Okay, so colleagues, all examples in the study material is equally important, and for examination or assessment purposes, we will always state in a question if an asset is of low value, okay, and whether or not the company applies the recognition exemption to its low value and short-term assets. So we will state to you in the question, listen, this company has elected to apply the recognition exemption for IFRS 16 leases. Then you need to know how to account for that. But first of all, we can give you a scenario, and that is what we will be looking at now. Okay, an example of where you need to apply the theory on a given question. So first of all, guys, the theory states that once you have recognized that, yes, this contract contains a lease and the company elected the recognition exemption, the lessee will recognize the lease payments associated with the lease and as an expense on a straight line basis over the lease term, of which you will see in a scenario, or on another systematic basis if it's more representative of the pattern of the lease benefit. Now, colleagues, we concentrate on the straight line basis, and this is what we will concentrate on, and what you will see in the example. This is what you need to know, and in the example, what we will show. Where the straight line basis is used and cash flows are not equal, so that means that the amount that you physically pay out of your bank account, the cash flow amount, when that is more than the equalized payment, you will sit with a prepayment. Now, I know that it seems like it's Greek currently, but this is just a theory because the standard tells us how to account for it. You will see it in an example straight away right now. And when the actual payments are less, then the equalized payment, you will sit with an accrual in the statement of financial position. But I will show you this in an example. So colleagues, journals and disclosure requirements for all leases are very important. Okay, it's always very important. So colleagues, this is just the theory behind the leases. Like I explained to you, we first need to determine whether the contract at the inception of the contract, whether that contract between the two parties, does it contains a lease? If it does if the contract contains a lease, you have to, according to the standard, recognize the right of use asset, which is debit, an asset, and a liability, a credit, the liability, unless it is of low value and the company chooses to elect the recognition exemption. And this is what we are doing tonight. We want to determine how do you account for short-term leases, that very section of low value recognition of lease payments. And that, colleagues, you can see in your lesson tool 7 of the study material, page 14. Now, colleagues, it's very important, like I explained, that when the actual payment is greater than the equalized payment, you will sit with the prepaid amount. Because why? The physical amount is more, you've paid more than you should have. Therefore, there's a prepayment, and that is what is referring to the cash flow, the amount that you physically paid according to the contract. But you can see this in an example. Okay, colleagues, we're quickly going to look at an example. How to apply the theory to a given scenario, okay? And this is, colleagues, really something that you need to learn how to be able to apply the theory on a given question. Now, this question states clearly whether, and remember, whenever you look at a question, go to the required first so that you can know what is expected of you. Excuse me. So for this question, we need to know, discuss whether the contract between Boat and Part Limited contains a lease. So can you clearly see, colleagues, that this is where we explain to you or where we need to show to you how do you address such a question. You're going to read the information and then we're going to apply the definition according to IFRS 16 to the given scenario to determine whether the contract contains a lease or not. And this is how you need to apply it in the assessment. All right. So Boat Limited customer is a manufacturer of luxury boats. On 1st of June, Boat Limited, the lessee, signed a long-term agreement with Part Limited, the supplier. In terms of the agreement, Part must supply portholes to Boat daily for a period of 10 years. Okay, to ensure that PART Limited fulfills its obligations in terms of the agreement, the management of PART decided to construct a plant of manufacturing portals on the premises of both. Okay, the close proximity of the plant will ensure that portals can be supplied as and when needed by Boat Limited. What are the other relevant matters? Ensure the continuous availability of portals. The arrangement stipulates that both must pay an annual fixed charge of 150,000, and since the portals are unique, the plant has no other purpose and will be demolished at the end of the agreement. The purchase by Boat for the first year of production amounted to 500 portals at 2,500 not yet transferred, and the incremental borrowing rate of Boat is 11.5% per annum. Now, colleagues, rightfully at this inception of the lease, or at the inception of the contract, we need to determine whether this contract actually does contain a lease. Okay, so what do we need to do? We need to apply the definition of IFRS 16 to the given scenario to be able to see whether this contract actually does contain a lease. Now, as per IFRS 16, colleagues, and this is how you will need to outline it in your solution whenever you need to attempt a question like this. This is applying the definition to the question. Okay, so as per IFRS 16 leases, a contract contains a lease when the contract conveys the following: a right to control the use of an identified asset for a period of time in change of consideration. So let's discuss the lease definition in components. Right to control the use of an identified asset. As per IFRS 16 leases, a contract conveys the right to control the use of an identified asset when the customer, the lessee, in this scenario, it is Boat. Okay, Boat is the lessee. Okay, when they have the following: they must have the right to obtain substantially all of the economic benefits from the identified asset and the right to direct the use of the identified asset. So, colleagues, they must be able to own that asset basically, and tell the asset what they can do with it. They must give the instructions, not the supplier. Okay, there is an identified asset. Although the portals manufacturing plant is not mentioned in the long-term agreement between Boat and PART, this asset is implicitly specified because for PART to fulfill the requirements of the agreement must erect the plant. So otherwise they can't supply the portals to Boat. They have to erect the plant because there's a specific amount of quantity that they would like to get from PART. Okay, so that is why they're going to construct a plant on the manufacturing portals on the premises of Boat. So it's at close proximity, which will ensure that portals can be supplied as and when needed. So it determines that Boat really direct the use of this plant. All right. So colleagues, PART Limited would also not benefit economically from substituting the asset. The cost associated with substituting a plant would be too high. Boat has the right to obtain all the economic benefits from the plant. The portals are unique and Boat is the only user thereof. So they cannot substitute this asset. It's mainly used for Boat because Boat need the use of the portals for their boats. And Boat has the right to direct how and for what purposes the plant is used throughout the period of use. So plant can't, PART can't within 6 months determine, no, we're not going to do this anymore. We're going to supply you with something else or less or whatever. Boat determines how they need to supply these goods for them. Okay, so Boat has the right to control the use of the plant throughout the 10-year period because the plant is an identified asset, a manufacturing plant. Boat has the right to obtain substantially all of the economic benefits from the use of the manufacturing plant over the 10-year period. Boat has exclusive right of use of the plant. Within the scope of the right of use of defined in a contract, Boat makes the relevant decisions about how and for what purposes portals are used, or by being able to decide. Therefore, Boat has the right to change these decisions during the 10-year period. Therefore, Boat has the right to benefit economically from a manufacturing plant and has the direct use for it. For a period of time, how long is this contract? Yes, it's for 10-year period. In consideration, what will Boat pay? Boat will pay Limited an annual fixed amount of 150,000 of the year. Conclusion: all the conditions of the lease definition have been met. The arrangement conveys the right to Boat Ltd to control the use of the plant, and it can be concluded that the arrangement contains a lease. Now, colleagues, this is how you apply the definition of IFRS 16 to a contract to see whether that contract actually contains a lease. Now, all of these conditions must be met. A right of control, the use of an identified asset for a period of time in exchange for consideration. Now, let's just play devil's advocate here and see that if there is a right to control the use of an identified asset, if there were not a right to control the use of identified asset, meaning that both did not obtain substantially all of the economic benefits and did not have the right to direct the use of the identified asset, then this contract does not contain a lease. So you must clearly distinguish between, yes, has both all the decision-making powers, will all the economic benefits come to both? Can they instruct what they need to do in this scenario with a manufacturing plant? So everything what boat asked was produced by PART. So PART Limited had made in the agreement that they decided to construct a plant, and it's only the usage of portholes for boat. It's in close proximity, so boat really had the main control of how they can direct the use of the identified asset. Now, that is where you need to distinguish between the theory and you need to determine, according to the definition, whether this contract contains a lease. And colleagues, you can expect something like this in your assessment, where you need to apply the theory on the given question to decide whether the contract contains a lease or not. And that, colleagues, is really, this is actually in your study material, example 2, where you can have a look at it again in your own time. I'm just familiarizing the fact to you that this is how you apply the theory on the given question, so that you can clearly see that the theory is very important for leases, okay, for lessees, for the very first section. Now, colleagues, that is your very first question. I want to go to an example ACCA where we will look at some calculations in regards to when you have a short-term value lease. Sorry, let me just close this one, and then we can look at the following question. Now, colleagues, again, this is this contract is a lease, and we are asking of you how you can discuss the accounting treatment of ACCA, okay, and calculate the equalized monthly installments, the prepaid expense, and the prepaid expense or accrued expense in December 20.18. Now, disclose the value assets, the low value assets in the following notes, which consist of the prepaid expense and IFRS 16 leases low value assets. Now, this is a very well-rounded off question where you can see everything. Okay, you see the discussion. After here, you do not need to discuss whether the contract contains a lease. It's already a lease. We tell you it's already a lease, but this company accounts for it in according to the short-term and low-value assets. Okay, so therefore, you need to determine how you will account for it in accordance with leases, IFRS 16. And then, colleagues, we will ask of you to calculate the equalized monthly installments, and then we also need to show you how you can journalize the transactions. Okay, very well-rounded off question, and that is something similar that you can expect. Now, colleagues, very first thing to note here is that we are dealing here from a company from 1st of January 2017 to the very end. So it is well-rounded off from 1st of January for 12 months. Okay, the reason I'm saying this is we will look at another question where the lease does not start on the 1st of January, or when does it start? Okay, which is important in regards to your calculations. Okay, colleagues, but let's discuss the accounting treatment. Okay, so ACCA entered into a contract with Beta to make use of a specialized printer and computing starting on 1st of January 20.7. The contract meets the requirements of a lease in terms of IFRS 16. So you can see clearly that we do not need to see or check whether this contract contains a lease or not. It is a lease. Okay, but now it says that asset is classified as low value. When it's of low value, you know that the recognition exemption applies, and ACCA will make use of recognition exemption and leases for short-term and low-value assets. Okay, colleagues, just on that, to come back to the slides, whenever you see something like that, you know that the lessee will recognize the lease payments associated with the lease as an expense on the straight line basis over the lease term. Okay, so let's go and see how do we do that. Colleagues, this is the question we need to discuss first. What is the accounting treatment of the lease? Yes, there are some terms as follows. The lease term, which is for 4 years, but we know that this is a short-term lease because it's of low value, and the entity determined that they can use the recognition exemption. Now, installments payable, monthly in arrears, these are the physical cash flows that you will pay. Month 1 to 24, 800 Rand for every month. So it's 800 times 24 for the first 24 months. This is the physical cash flows that will flow out of your bank account. Okay, that is the actual payments where we indicated on the slides, colleagues, when the actual payments are greater than the equalized payments, you will have a prepayment. But let's go and see how do we do that. Okay, let me just get back to the questions. Okay, so colleagues, this is where we apply the theory again. In months 25 to 48, you will only pay 600 Rand. Now, there's a very first 500 Rand legal fees for negotiating the lease, and the useful life of the computer and printer is 3 years. Now, colleagues, what are we achieving here? We are showing you how to account for a lease for lessees when they have decided there's a recognition exemption apply, and we do not comply with full IFRS of the full standard of IFRS 16, because this is not a financial lease, but it's a short-term lease. Okay, the contract does contain a lease, and the entity decided that the recognition exemption applies, and the leases of short-term and low-value assets does apply. Now, what is the discuss the accounting treatment for this lease. Now, the accounting treatment, according to the standard, it indicates that as per IFRS 16, leases, a lessee may elect to apply the recognition exemption to short-term leases less than 12 months and low-value assets less than $5,000. As you can see, this comes directly from the theory, as I've indicated to you. It is the policy of ACCA to apply the recognition exemption to all short-term and low-value assets. Leases of low-value assets are accounted for on a lease-by-lease basis. How will we recognize this? Recognition, when the recognition exemption is applied, the lessee will recognize the lease payments on a low-value asset lease as an expense on a straight-line basis, and on another systematic basis if it's more representative of the pattern of the lease benefit. The lessee will only consider lease to be a new lease when there is a lease modification or there is changes in the lease term. Can you see again how we apply the theory on the question? Okay, so this is a short-term lease, and how will we account for the short-term leases according to the standard? Because the lessee is of low value and they've recognized the recognition exemption, this is how they will account for short-term leases. Okay, the calculation. We need to determine the equalized monthly installments. Now, colleagues, it's very simple. All you need to do is you take the initial payment that was given to you as 1440, and that is the initial payment to get the lease undergoing. Apart from the legal fees, the legal fees is a once-off cost that you will expense, and that journal entry, we can go directly there. Initial direct cost, profit and loss, 500 Rand, you debit the expense and credit your bank account 500 Rand. That is just legal fees. You don't capitalize it towards the lease, but the initial payment for 1440, you need to take into consideration of the lease, the short-term low-value asset leases. Okay, so that low-value asset in 1440 is for the very first initial payment. Then, colleagues, months 1 to 4 to 24, you will pay 800 Rand. So, colleagues, all you take is 24 months times 800 will give you 19,200 Rand for the very first 24 months. And then the very first next 24 months, you will pay 600 Rand, and that is 14,400. If you add all of that up, you get 35,040, but the lease term is 48 months. How do we get 48 months? Well, 4 years times 12, because there's 12 months in a year, will give you 48 months. Okay, so we're going to pay 730 Rand per month. Now, colleagues, just from this is the equalization of lease installments. Now, 730 Rand is the equalized amount. According to the standard, IFRS 16, it indicates to you that yes, you must apply when the recognition exemption is applied. The lessee will recognize the lease payments on a low value basis, on a straight line basis over the lease term. This is the straight line basis what we are determining here, the equalized amount. According to accounting standards, we say no, we cannot use the cash flow amount, but we must use it according to the equalized amount. And that is how we get 730 Rand. Okay, the implication of the equalization of lease payments is that a portion of the lease payments will be a prepaid expense or accrued expense in the statement of financial position. But how? Colleagues, let's see quickly how we determine the prepaid expense. Now, colleagues, you notice that there was an initial payment of 1,440. Now, this is for the very first year, December 2017. We will pay for the first year from 1st of January, colleagues, from 1st of January 2017 to 31st of December 2017, that is 12 months. Okay, so that is the cash flow amount, is 9,600. 800 times 12 is 9,600 plus the initial payment of 1. You will get 11,040 Rand. That's the cash flow amount that will physically go out of your bank account for the year, for the very first year. But according to the standard tells us no, we cannot do that. We must do it on a straight line basis over the lease term. According to IFRS 16, we need to determine the equalized amount. Okay, so we're only going to pay 730 times 12 is 8,760. Now, can you see the actual payments that we made that flew from your bank account outside your company was 11,040. That's the actual payments. That is more than the equalized amount. Therefore, you will sit with a prepaid expense. The difference between 11,040 and 8,760, the equalized amount, is a prepaid expense. It's a debtor in your company books. Okay? But colleagues, this is the journals. Let's go and look at the journals. Okay? So what do you pay? You pay for the first year. Remember, we have done the 500 Rand legal fees. That was a once-off write-off cost of 500, and now we do the journals for the very first year. We paid physically 1,440 Rand, and 12 times 800 Rand is 11,040. The difference between the 11,040 and the lease expense, the expense that is going through your profit and loss statement is the equalized amount, is 730 times 12 is 8,760. The difference between the two, your balancing figure, is your prepayment in your set of books. Okay, but now, colleagues, let's look at it for the 31st December. Okay, remember the lease expense is 730, is 8,760, and the physical bank account is 800 only. We cannot take now 1,440 again. That was done in the first year. Now we're only doing the expense for the following 12 months. Remember that months 1 to 24 is 800 Rand. So now this is for the following year, is 840. Again, colleagues, the difference is 12,000 times 800 is 9,600. That's the physical cash flow, because this is the second year. It's 9,600, and the difference of the equalized amount is 730 times 12 is 800, and there's another prepayment of 840. But colleagues, we did sit with a prepaid balance of 2,280. Okay, and we are sitting again with another prepaid balance of 840. So this will be in your set of books under debtors of a prepaid debtor of 3,120. It's the first year one, okay, of 2,280. That is the one that we've calculated there on the first year. Remember the difference between the actual payments, your cash flow, and the equalized amount, including the initial payment for the first year. The second year, you will not have the prepayment again. You cannot include that 1,440 in 2018. You can only include what you physically will pay the company, the supplier, and that is 800 Rand for the following 12 months because the company standard, the information said it like that. So it's 12 times 800 is 9,600. What is our equalized amount? Is 730. Where did we get the 730 from again? Well, that is from the equalized installments, the equalized payments. The 1,440 is the initial term. Okay, then you have got installments for the very first 24 months, which is 19,200, and then installments for the following 24 months is at 600, is 35. So you can see you do it over the whole term, over the whole 4 years. You need to calculate the cash flows. You need to calculate the cash flows over the 4-year period, and then only you divide it by 48 months. Why months? Because we need to get the very first year. Okay, you could have done it divided it by 4, but then you need to do it again, divided by 12 to get it for the first year. Otherwise, you would not have gotten 730 Rand. Okay. So that is why we divide by 48 months. That is 4 years. But to get to the very first year, you divide by the 48 to get to the monthly. You could have done it in years, but then you must realize that you will you cannot multiply by 12 there again. Okay, colleagues. That is clear. So the journals is the difference between the equalized payment and the actual payment will determine your balancing figure either being prepayment or accrued expense. And colleagues, this is now the calculation, and this is the disclosure. So for the prepaid expense is the notes in the annual financial statements. This is in the statement of financial position, where you will sit with the prepaid expense, which is a debtor. The low value assets prepaid expense is 2280, and for the 2018 year is 3120. How did we get the 2280? Well, colleagues, that was the very first calculation, is the initial payment, your initial paid amount, the cash flow amount. The cash flow for the very first year is 11,040. But the equalized amount is only 8,760. So the difference between the two, when the actual payment is more than the equalized amount, you will get a prepaid expense. Now, the opposite is also true, colleagues. The opposite is also true. We indicate to you a company will recognize an accrued expense for lease payments when the actual annual lease payments paid is less than the annual equalized lease payments. So, for instance, if this figure 8,760 was 12,000, okay, and not 8,000, then you would have sit there with an accrual. It would have been credited. Okay, then this journal entry would not be debited, but there would be an accrued expense because your equalized amount is more than your cash flow amount. You should have paid something, but you didn't. You paid less than what you should have. That's why it's an accrual. Okay. Now, colleagues, this is very simple. Just to summarize, okay, so you take the lease term, you get the initial payment, which is 1,400. You take the whole cash flows over the term, you divide it by the term period, 48 months. Okay, you will get 730. And colleagues, at the very first period, that is where you will then do your journals and then obviously determine your prepayment and your cash flow amount. Now, colleagues, like I indicated to you, this is what you need to know for your assessment 2 coming up. This is a very well-rounded off question, including the calculation, explaining to you how you need to do the accounting treatment, how you will recognize it, how you will calculate the equalized installment, what the journal entries are, and obviously, colleagues, how you will disclose it in your annual financial statements. This is for statement of financial position, and this is for leases, which will fall under your low income and expenses related to leases, expenses, low value lease expense. This is the amount that you would have paid in 2017, okay, and the 8,760 is the other year's expense, 8,760. That's the low value lease expense, and ACCA Limited elected the recognition exemption on low value assets, leases of office equipment, and the computer and printer are not recognized as a right-of-use asset. As the result, no depreciation is recognized for the low-value assets. Why? Because the standard allowed you to not recognize a right-of-use asset. Because the standard tells you that because it's of a low value, you do not need to recognize a right of use asset as for part 2, but you can recognize it over a straight line basis over the lease term. Now, colleagues, that is ACCA. There is just one more question that I would like to go through with you. And like I explained, ACCA is now the question that we looked at. We looked at boat, where the boat question was really to determine how do you account for leases at the inception of the lease. You need to apply the definition to see whether this contract contains a lease or not. And the definition that you need to use is the right to control the use of an identified asset for a period of time in exchange for consideration. Okay. And remember, tomorrow morning we will do leases. Now, colleague, I need to get to the following question, where this is a little bit adjusted before we can close off. And let me quickly get that question, which is Nkobu. And Nkobu is an exam question where we have adjusted. I have adjusted it a bit just to clarify and indicate to you how we can deal with this type of question. Let me get the solution as well before we can discuss the solution. Let me quickly get this question to you here. All right. So, colleagues, this is an adjusted exam question where they have given you some information. They've given you a trial balance, more or less, and they informed you that the year end of the company is 28th of February 2021. But now, very interesting is that this lessee, this Nkobu, entered into a non-cancelable lease on 1st of July 2020. Now, can you see, colleagues, you need to be cognizant of the dates when the lease has been entered into. Okay, so this lease has been entered into on 1st of July 2020, but the year end is 28th of February 2021. Now, total sales, including VAT at 15%, is 2.3 million. They've got some expenses there. They've got salaries and wages, advertising, auditors' remuneration, distribution costs, other expenses, including finance cost and depreciation of 92,500. Lease payments of 24,000 Rand, which is in the trial balance. Now, what do they ask of us? They tell us that Nkobu entered into this non-cancelable lease on 1st of July for lease as a printer, and the contract is a lease in terms of IFRS 16. Now you can see that you do not need to explain if this contract contains a lease. What is the information? Well, the initial lease term is 3 years. An initial payment of 8,526 was made. That's a cash flow amount. The lease payments are 3,000 Rand per month for first 6 months. So you're going to say 3,000 times 6. The lease payments thereafter are 2,000 per month until the end of 3 years. So for every 3 years, you're going to pay 2,000 Rand per month. And all actual lease payments by Nkobu are included in the operating expenses above. So it means that everything is included in the operating expenses here, included in there. Okay, Nkobu has the option to extend the lease term by a further 2 years at 1,000 Rand. Okay, at the commencement of the lease term, Nkobu Ltd is reasonably certain that it will exercise this option to extend the lease term by a further 2 years. So you need to take into consideration 1,000 Rand for another 2 years. 5% of every lease payment goes towards covering the maintenance cost incurred by and is to be paid by the lessor. All right, these values are similar to those costs for similar maintenance services rendered by third parties. Nkobu elected to apply the recognition exemption in respect of low assets and in the lease agreement. Nkobu accounts for the lease and lease components separately. Now, colleagues, let me just quickly go back. I just want to see if you can still hear me. You can still see my slides. Everything is still fine. I know that I will look. I know, yes, everything will be recorded. And like I explained, it will be sent there and it still seems fine. Now, colleague, let me get back to the question. And here is the solution. Okay, so what do we need to determine first? Sorry, let me just minus the slides. What is the required? Now, colleagues, please remember, you cannot start at the beginning of the question. From your perspective, whenever you get your assessment, please go to your required first before you even start at the top here. I've done it now wrong. Okay, but whenever you get a question paper, you go to the required first to see exactly what is expected of you. You need to go and see, prepare the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income for the year ended. Prepare the profit before tax note. Prepare the journal entries to account for it. Okay, this is what you need to require. Okay, so for this sake, okay, we're going to determine the gross, the statement of profit or loss, okay, and other comprehensive income for the year ended. This is the statement. And colleagues, please also remember that in terms of IFRS 18, there is a new format for producing and disclosing the statement of profit or loss with new subtotals, okay, subtotals, which is operating profit, profit before financing and income tax, profit before income tax, and then profit for the year. You will not normally see profit from continuing operations. You can exclude that, but this is the new format where you need to determine in accordance with IFRS 18. Now, I've given you this format already updated, and like I explained to you, these questions will also form part under your online class 6. Now, colleagues, I will increase this now just to show you the calculations. Okay, so let me increase this part so that you can clearly see. And remember, this will also be posted under the online class session. Now, colleagues, what does the we need to determine, we will get to the statement of profit and loss now, but we're going to determine and calculate the equalized lease payments amount, like we have seen in the previous question. Now, the initial lease term is 3 years. Now, there's an initial payment of 8526, okay, and that payment is included, 8526. Now, then the payments are 3,000 per month for the first 6 months. Colleagues, first 6 months, 3,000 times 6. So what are we doing? We're taking the cash flows and we put them in a column, in a table format, so we can calculate the equalized amount. Because remember, Nkobu elected to apply the recognition exemption of the lease. This contract does contain a lease, but he applied the recognition exemption, and this is how we do it. We calculate the lease equalization. Okay, the lease equalization means you take the initial payment of 8526, you put it in your calculation. The first 6 months, you will pay 3,000 per month for the first 6 months, 3,000 times 6 of 18,000. Then for the next 30 months, okay, 2,000 per month until the end of the 3 years. Remember, it's 3 years, okay? So you will need to take the rest of the years for the 6 months is then 30 months. For the next 30 months, it's 2,000 Rand, which is 60,000 Rand. Okay, and then it indicated to us that this colleague will make, he will take the option to extend it for a further 2 years, which is 24 months for 1,000 Rand. Then you colleagues, this is the cash flows. That is the cash flows. The initial payment, 8526. The very first 6 months is 18,000. That is for your very first months. Okay. Remember that this lease period is for 3 years. How many 12 months in 3 years? It's 36 months. That's why 30 months is the remainder of the 36 months. That's why it's 60,000. 2,000 times 30 is 60, and then the extendable option is 24 months. So initial, this lease term is for 5 years, okay? It will come to 5 years. It's initial 3 years, but it will be extended for the 24 months. That's why you included $1,000 there, times 24. This is the complete cash flows. 110,526. Hopefully you can see those figures, but there is a maintenance cost that is relevant at 5% that will cover the maintenance cost and incurred by the lessor. So that 5% is determined that we will deduct it from the cash flow amount, and then we will get 105,000 Rand. Okay, over the 5-year period, is 21,000 Rand. So for every year, you're going to pay 21,000 as an equalized amount, okay, for the period, for that first year. But colleagues, here it comes the catch. Remember, we haven't had the lease contract, like I explained in the previous example, from 1st of January to December. This lease contract only started in July. You've got a 28th February 21 year end. Therefore, that lease expense, which is 21,000 Rand, for the first year at the end of 2021, you multiply it by 6 over 12. July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February. Sorry, not 6, but 8 months, because your year end is February. Your lease contract started in 1st of July and your year end is February. So yes, although the equalized amount over 5 years is 21,000, but for this year, that will be for the second year, okay? For this year, the lease that you need to disclose is 21,000 times 8 over 12, because you've only had this lease contract for 8 months, and that's why the 14,000 will reflect in your books. Okay, so what are the actual lease payments? What are your cash flows that you did for the current year? Remember, for 28th of February 2021, that's what we need to determine. I've given you all the journal entries for all the years just to make it more comprehensive. Okay, but we only want to determine for this year. Okay, so what was the actual lease payments? Well, colleagues, it was 8,526. Remember, for this year, what was the cash flow? The cash flow was 8,526 is the amount that we've paid, plus 18,000 for the first 6 months, okay, plus 4,000 for 2 months. Okay, 4,000 for 2 months. Well, how do we get that? Well, from July, okay, that is from July to December is 18,000. It's only 3,000 times 6, which is 18,000. That will bring you to December. But then for the next 3 months, we've still got 2 months left in the year, and that is 2,000 times 2 gives you 4,000. That's the actual cash flows for the period, for the year, for 28th of February 2021. And then there's a maintenance expense on the lease, annual lease payments, which is a 1,526. How do we get that? Well, it's 30,526 times 5% gives you 1,526. Now, colleagues, these are the journal entries. I've made to you the comment here that when the actual payment, the cash flow amount is greater than the equalized payment, you will sit with a prepayment. Now, let's go and see whether that's actually the case. Okay, so again, according to the theory, when your actual payments, the cash flow amount is greater than your equalized payment, okay, then you will sit with a prepayment. Okay, so Credit Bank, what is your cash flow amount? The cash flow amount is what we've determined, 3,526, 3,526. That's what you physically paid out of your bank account. But colleagues, you must have paid only 14,000 according to our calculation equalized amount, which is 14,000 only for 8 months. Remember, your contract started at the beginning of July. That is 14,000. We had maintenance expense on the expense of the cash flow amount. Okay, so it's 5% of the yearly cash flow amount is 1,526. 1,526 plus 14,000 and 30,000 minus 15,526 will give you 15,000 as the prepaid balance. That's your balancing figure, and it's a prepayment. Because your cash flow amount is more than your equalized amount, therefore you will sit with a prepayment. Now, colleagues, I also have given you the following year's journals, so you can just see how it will work. Can you see that in years 2 and 3 will work exactly the same thing, except for in year 2, you will sit with 24,000, but then, colleagues, you will have 21,000, the full year's expense. Okay, can you see? Then you will use the 21,000's full year's expense. Okay, but what do we need to do? On the 24,000, there is a 5% maintenance expense. Colleagues, can you see that because the actual cash flow amount is more than the equalized amount plus the maintenance expense, you will only have a balancing prepayment. But in years 4 to 5, it reverses, because your actual payment in years 4 to 5, because remember you extended it for 2 years, 1,000 rand is 24,000, and that's the payment, that's the cash flow of 12,000 in years 4 and 5. Remember, in year 4 you're going to pay 12,000, and in year 5 you're going to pay 12,000. You must make 5% on 24,000. Sorry, that's not 24,000. That must be 1,000, 12,000. Okay, but it's for years 4 and 5. So that 1,200 is not 1,200 there, colleagues. It must be 12,000 times 0.05, and that will give you 600 rand. It will sit with there with 600 rand, not 1,200. That's just a typo error. But because, can you see that the 12,000 is less than the equalized amount, then that prepayment will reverse. It will actually become an accrual. If you haven't had a prepaid balance, this will become an accrual of 10,200. And then, colleagues, you can go and fill in the information. Revenue, which is 2.3 million, you take out the VAT. 2 million cost of sales is obviously the of 60%. They did. Obviously, this is now not complete. This is just to show you the statement of profit and loss. But under other operating expenses, colleagues, you would have taken the calculation. You would have taken the amount, the cash flow amount that you would have taken out, because it was set. It indicated that it was already included. Okay, here it says it was included under the operating cost. So you will take out the cash flow amount, and then you will bring in the lease payments according to your calculation, plus your lease maintenance cost. Now that I see that there's also a typing error. It should be 1526 and not 1426. There should be 1526 and not 1426. But you take out the cash flow amount and you put in your equalized lease amount. And then, colleagues, you can get your figures. This is the profit before tax. Note the income. You can't reconcile this to anything because I haven't given you the whole of the question. So you cannot determine any of these things on top there. But you can be included, these things you can include here just as a disclosure that you need to bring in under your profit before tax note. And then your other expenses is your operating expenses and your lease payments, which consist of the 30,526 and 92,500, which was given to you, plus the 30,526. That is why there is a 1236, but you need to deduct it because that's the cash flow amount. We cannot use the cash flow amount. We need to use the IFRS 16 equalized amount according to the standard. And colleagues, this is really what you need to know for your short-term leases. Just to get back to my slides, colleagues, it's really imperative that you understand the theory, and I explained to you the leases, IFRS 16, how do you apply for it, how do you contract. At the inception, you need to determine whether the contract contains a lease and apply the definition. We've looked at an example boat, which is in your study material. You can go through that again to see how we apply the theory to the given question. And then, colleagues, as I explained, part 2, financial leases, we will discuss tomorrow morning. That is where we will deal with financial leases, whether the contract contains a lease and the low value recognition exemption is not decided and is not chosen. You haven't got that option because it's for longer than 12 months and the identified asset is more than $5,000. Then you must identify a recognized right of use asset and a lease liability, and that will be tomorrow's scenario. Like I indicated to you, we've discussed ACCA, where we've indicated to you the calculation of the equalized lease payments with the cash flows. When the actual payments, the cash flows amounts is more than the equalized amount, then you sit with a prepayment because you've paid more than you should have. Okay. And then we looked at Nkobu, where the lease, contract lease is not the same as your financial year. And that is where colleagues, that is basically where you need to proportionate that equalized amount. Like I've indicated to you, you will divide it by 5, but then when you get the equalized amount, you must apply according to your contract terms. And this contract started from July and end from in July in the year to 28th of February, and that is 8 months. So in the year, there's 14,000. Remember that you can do that as well. And then, colleagues, that is really what you need to know for short-term leases of low value, and need to apply the theory on given questions. Now, colleagues, thank you. That is my class. I hope that this gave you some insights and clarity on certain things. And as indicated to you, I will post the video, the recording will be posted in the online section of my module site. Like I explained to you, if you go to your welcome message, okay, and you scroll all the way down, then you will see your online class 6. I've already portrayed online class 7. This will become available after tonight. And then the class will be tomorrow's class at 10, and all your material resources you can find under the online class, and all other online classes as well, colleagues, will fall under this sections here, where you can easily browse through the classes. Now, colleagues, that is my story. I hope it was insightful and that you have got a good evening. I will quickly look at some answers or questions, and wish you a very good evening. Thank you and good night.